Hello, everybody. How are you? Can you guys hear me? Hello, hello. Woohoo! Fantastic. So, today we have quite a bit to go over. Hello, hello, hello. So, we have quite a bit to go over. Before I get into today's discussion on the Holy Guardian Angel, right? So when we talk about the HGA, Holy Guardian Angel, we're getting into that. We're getting into a couple of the rituals that are actually a specific ritual that is classically forever and always known as the ritual to do this, right? But it was not something that I had intended on. I did not plan on at the beginning of this month. So at the end of last month, beginning of this month, when I published the list of these webinars, I had no clue. No clue. Trust me, I had no clue. None. I had no clue that Gallery of Magic, our very near and dear Damon Brand, who we all know his pen name, but we have no clue who he is, what he was going to do, what book he was working on, right? I had no idea. I had no clue. So the timing of this is completely coincidental. Who knew? So just the same, when we talk about this Holy Guardian Angel, please trust me that it was not my intention at all to coincide with this. Trust me, it was not my intention to coincide with this. It was not. Okay. However, okay, what very serendipitous actually, but something told me deep down within that this is a theme that I have to talk about, and I had to talk about it. Now, I was or had started mentioning a little bit about the Holy Guardian Angel in June or May of this year, right? And I put a little something onto the Patreon to talk about this with the complete and full intention of going further into this topic. But when I noticed that the majority of people's concepts on the Holy Guardian Angel are so diverse, and the skill sets and the amount of information people have are just so diverse, I thought maybe it would be time to kind of just wait 1 second, you know, take just a quick second to hold on, hold our horses, right? And see what would develop in this subject, because I really wanted to see kind of like where everybody was at before I started, getting into these deep dives that I usually get into, where either I'm the only person listening to my deep dive or I have no idea. But um, uh, this topic, this specific topic of the Holy Guardian Angel, is an extremely, for lack of a better concept, it's a pretty controversial topic for many people. Okay, and so I have to start by talking about that. I have to start by mentioning that before I even get into the slides. Today we're really going to have about 4 slides, right? Because I'm going to present to you guys the Stele of Jehu, which is the actual Bornless ritual, the actual Headless ritual, the ritual, not the Gallery of Magic ritual, not the refried version that Aleister Crowley gave, and his version of the Bornless, as he would call it. No, I'm going to show you guys the Stele of Jehu. Now, people who are already my students, who have already or are already taking classes with me, for example, those who have taken the Solomonic Pentacles creation and consecration class, already know this ritual, but they don't know the whole background behind it, and they don't know the why it works, how it works, and how you can kind of like tweak it, right? And and they don't know a whole lot about the Holy Guardian Angel because that's not germane exactly to that particular class, right? So I try not to get way off topic there, because as it is, every time I start off my courses, I go into a preamble always to try and put certain things together and whatnot. And so some people are kind of like really, really impatient with the knowledge, and they just want it now. So I've kind of like, just kind of like step right into topics, and that's that, right? Not go on to these sides. Well, this is that moment where I can actually go into this a little bit deeper. And because everybody's had this opportunity to read the magical, Destiny book, I'm hoping, by Damon Brand. At least now, the majority of you guys should have some type of background on what your Holy Guardian Angel is, or what this concept is. Because, quite honestly, if I can say something about this text that he wrote, that Damon Brand wrote, he at least gave you guys this opportunity to savor, to understand the concept. Now, there are some things that are very important to mention in this concept that he does not mention, and probably doesn't mention them on purpose. I always give him this benefit of the doubt because I'm pretty sure he knows his audience really well. I've noticed this throughout his books. The way he writes, his prose, his style is very 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 understanding of who he's talking to, right? So I get that. I totally get that. And I also understand that this concept is probably one of the concepts that's probably one of the most complicated ones in magic, but also controversial. And at the same time, there are some certain things to it that people just don't seem to explain or just don't seem to know how to explain. And that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. Okay? That is exactly where I'm going to go with this. So, some people, after seeing this, are probably going to say all kinds of interesting stuff. And I quite honestly do not care if they say whatever they say, because I'm going to come from a very traditional point of view, because that's how I was formed, that's how I was trained. And I'm going to be extremely honest right now. When we talk about the Stele of Jehu, that comes from our tradition. That's from our tradition. Okay, that's not something from Thelema or whatever traditions. No, sorry guys, that comes from us. The Stele of Jehu is from Jehu the hieroglyphist of a pyramid, hieroglyphist of our temples, of the Kemetic tradition of our bloodline. So I'm talking from a position of authority here, not even trying to be a gatekeeper or anything of the sort. I just kind of get somewhat offended sometimes when people try and just manipulate the heck out of rituals and stuff, and then they try and claim it to be like the only law, the only thing that exists in the universe, right? And that's just so not right. So I want to address this, that the beauty of these rituals is that they are modifiable. The beauty of these rituals is that what you find in terms of this particular ritual for this particular activity, which is getting to know your holy guardian angel, which is just one little thing that you get out of this ritual, actually. Just one little tiny itty bitty thing that you get out of it, okay? You get a lot more out of it. And so people just don't seem to understand the true power of it. So, yes, you can have conversation. You can have knowledge of your guardian angel without doing the ritual. Absolutely. I agree with Damon Brand completely. So I've been reading people within this month talking about, I'm so very disappointed in Damon Brand because Damon Brand did not deliver this time. I wanted, another mystical words of power book out there that tells me, the 1, 2, 3, alakazam, and I will change my life into a multi-billionaire, right? That's not going to happen, guys. I don't care who writes the book. I don't care how simple they write it. Everybody's looking for the McDonald's magic. Y'all are looking for, the Walmart of magic. Can you please send me a list of the rituals, please? I need a list of rituals. I would greatly appreciate a list of rituals. Do you have that ritual in green? Do you have that ritual in, a nightshade of blue? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I like those candles in that ritual. Exactly what? Tell me there, Dr. Munir. What incense did you put in that ritual? I just saw that photo of that ritual, and I'm not sure what incense did you put there. What spirits did you conjure? I'd like to know the exact list of spirits, please. No. I need the exact alphabetical list, please. And I'd like you to give me some references where I can find this on Google, please. Guys, no, I'm sorry, no. It's not that way. It's not that way. This is information that's from way before Google, way before computers. And whether or not you like that shade of fuchsia or no, that's got nothing to do with the power basis to the rituals. So you can tweak it, modify it, make filet out of it, make pure, mashed potatoes out of it. You can make, crisp cut fries out of it. But at the end of the day, the basics are the basics, and the principle is the principle. And so, too much dogma, guys. Way too much dogma. Way too much dogma. Like I've mentioned this in some of my classes recently, this last week. The majority of people who are complaining about, dogma from the churches and the Christianities and all these different things of the world, you complain about everybody's so dogmatic, Bible thumping and what. You sound exactly the same when you get dogmatic about magic. You kind of you're like, I don't want to hear anything because everything's evil. It's not magic. Guys, hello. Magic's about not being dogmatic. Magic's about being open, flexible, openness. The second we close ourselves, we become immune to the magic. The second we close our minds, The very second we close our minds, we then become desensitized to magic. And we kind of like shut ourselves off. This is why children can see so much more than we can. This is why children have so much more connection than we do. And so when we talk about, for example, the holy guardian angel, many of us have had contact during our childhood. And we weren't even sure that we had it. We didn't even know we had it. We probably even forgot about it. Because now we are completely dulled. We have now been blinded. We have been sidetracked. So again, I must say to you, the contact with your holy guardian angel, even children, the majority of children have some kind of contact. You might not even know it's your holy guardian angel, not because it's going to come out of nowhere with big old wings and just swoop down like the rapture. It's not going to happen that way. But I promise you that at some point in time, some old lady, some older gentleman, somebody came up, gave something, did something, saved you from something, whatever. That was your holy guardian angel and that manifestation. And you had no clue. But you're like, what a nice guy, what a nice. That's how it happens. And there's so many other things that I'm going to talk about today with this. So as time goes by, as we get older with our prejudices and our dogmatic way of thinking, the whole black and white type of thinking, what happens is we start to classify, declassify, characterize, uncharacterize, organize, deorganize, and we start to kind of like cut ourselves off from spirituality. So we need to have an open mindset to spirituality. We have to have an open mindset to ourselves, to our inner power, for us to be able to get there. So these types of rituals, right? Like I'm going to be mentioning in just a few minutes. The Stele of Jehu, for example, which is also called, AKA the Bornless, AKA the Headless ritual. It's the same darn thing, okay? And I'll explain why it's called that, and I'll go into all of that with some detail because people have lots of questions. But what you do... Okay. So what... Thanks, Diana. So what I need to be very careful with you guys on, and very specific with you guys on here, is that when we get into this concept, we first need to understand, number one, okay? What you need to understand, number one, is, okay, that these rituals, like all rituals and all of magic, can be modified. Now, that does not mean you can just do whatever the heck you think you want to do and you're going to get the same result. Yes, you can do whatever you want. Of course you can. There is nothing in this universe telling you can't do anything you want. You can do whatever you want, okay? That's that. That's a maximum, okay? You can do whatever you want. Now, doing whatever you want does not mean necessarily you're going to get the results you want, and that is that, and there's no other way around it. That's how that dynamic works, okay? Certain ingredients, certain outcome, okay? So you need to think of this as a system. Input into the process. You put input in a process. You put input, and then out of the process comes a result. So inputs are ingredients, right? They get processed, and they get a result. Okay. Your spells, your rituals have a very specific process to them. They've got a beginning, a middle, and an end. Okay? They've got a beginning, a middle, and an end. For those of you who later on are going to be taking my Magic 101 courses and things like that, learning how to do magic, right? For example, right now we're closing up this tomorrow, Saturday, is the last session of the Solomonic Angelic Rituals class, right? Where I put a bunch of rituals in there for that group so that they could learn rituals from that perspective. And in about a week and a half, I'll be opening up the Solomonic Goetia Spirits Magic Rituals class, right? You'll notice that rituals have a very clear beginning, middle, and end to them. And as you start doing rituals and you start learning, these are a little bit deeper rituals, when you start learning them, you'll notice that there are very specific components. Now, these components can be swapped out, okay? You can swap out. You can modify them. Now, people who are dogmatic, which you got lots of gatekeepers in the magic community who are extremely dogmatic, who will tell you that if you do not pronounce it this way, or if you do not say these exact words, the apocalypse will happen almost, right? Like Satan himself will come down and eat you alive, right? So, whatever. And so you get these wars, like witch wars and, sorcerer wars where this one yells at that one, I don't like their talismans, and I don't like their this, and I don't like their that, and I don't know whatever. Who cares? But the problem here is that this dogmatic mentality coming down to the rest of us, you guys, you can't adopt it because it's just cutting you off from your magic. So what you need to understand is, number one, all these rituals have modification possibilities, okay? The idea here is the principal idea is to know where to modify. Okay, not everything is modifiable. Okay, it's kind of like saying I can modify my car to do whatever I want. Yeah, but if you take the motor out, it's not going to run. Okay, so you need to understand what's the motor. Which is the motor? What is the carburetor? Does it have a carburetor or is it fuel injection? How is gasoline getting in there? Again, when we talk about ingredients, inputs into a process, how are those ingredients getting into the ritual? Okay. Once they're in the ritual, how does that get processed so you can get your result? So the way you process these ingredients determines how you get the result. So when some of you guys are like, so to get in contact with my holding guardian angel, it's gonna take me, like 18 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, lifetime, whatever, because there are lots of books that say that. So you've got, for example, Abramelin, which is a very, very, very famous text. Okay, the Abramelin text got the Yolke Valke on here, right? The Book of Abramelin, okay, which goes into the 18-month process. But a lot of people kind of like don't know how to read, and what you don't seem to understand, and I'm gonna got it with me today. In Abramelin, it's not saying that you got to spend 18 months doing the ritual. It's telling you that over a period of 18 months, which gives you to understand that any time during 18 months, it could happen. Not 18 months and then it will happen, right? So you got all kinds of cults out there saying, it's got to be 18 months. In other words, gatekeeping. It's got to be 18. It's not true. That's not true. Again, everything has to deal with the ingredients you put in. So for those of you out there who just like want to just knock on the Gallery of Magic text, right? Damon Brand really, really did not live up to my expectations this time. Guys, hey. Quite a few of the people out there who claimed that and said that didn't even know what the Holy Guardian Angel really was before that. So, you know what I'm saying? Any new information, as long as it's valid, that's good stuff. That's great stuff. Thank the heavens you got it. Because your Holy Guardian Angel, here we start getting into topic now. I'm doing like those disclaimers. The Holy Guardian Angel isn't just anybody, guys. This isn't just anybody. This is by far your number one ally. So, you got people from, the left hand and people from the right hand, as if there was such a thing, right? You got two hands, guys. Left hand, right hand. You sound like a teenager just discovering how to use his left hand or his right hand for some undercover, action. It doesn't work like that. There is no left, there is no right. The universe is not left or right. You got both. That's hermetics, guys. What is up is down. What is above is below. There is black, there is white. There is no black or white. This does not exist. It exists in the mind of human beings who are limited. This is a limited mentality, okay? There is no black, there is no white. There is action and consequence, both positive and negative, and there's no way of escaping it, okay? So the human condition limits us because we are limited to a body and we're unable to understand anything outside of our body because we're just incapable of understanding what comes from out of us. And if we don't understand what comes from out of us, we definitely don't know what's going on within us. So we need to have some very clear concepts of what a holy guardian angel or any kind of angel is. And what does this have to do with us? And for some people out there, the first thing you say is, if this is my holy guardian angel, so if I was to commit sins, and yeah. Slow down your roll for a second. Slow it down. Slow down. Your holy guardian angel, first thing when you say the word angel, everybody gets right into dogma again. And you got half of the audience getting pissed off because I don't like angels because that's God's subjugating of them. Hey, wait a second. Don't be insulting to angels, please. And then you got another group, doing the same thing. Demons, I can't, no, demons, I'm going to go to hell, demons. Guys, hello, separate concepts. Separate, okay? The concept of angel, the concept of demon, okay? It's just a status. But quite honestly, the majority have the same exact concept in the way they function, the way they work, and even from where they come from. Okay? So for those of you who are super hardcore lefters out there, you got to understand, if you read the Goetia, if you actually read it, instead of just like spouting off that you think you know about it and you really don't, if you actually read it, you read it, You'll find out of the 72 demons, guys, out of 72 demons, you got an entire list of them where it says clearly, and not just in the Lemageddon. I've got like there's at least 7 texts out there, right? Right. So you got the pseudo monarchia. You've got the live l'esprit. You've got lots of texts. Okay, all with the same echo that these are fallen angels. They were angels. Some of the Goetia spirits even want to go back to being in grace again. It even says that it's written. This is not made up. This is not fiction. It's not Disney. It was written. It's been written. They even have expressed that they want to go back into the state of grace. So you guys stop getting into this, evil or not evil, good. It's not the way it works, guys. Not the way it works. Okay. We need to understand that the concept of an angel, these are spirits. Spirits. Spirit does not mean it's a part of your subconscious. There's an entire debate out there about the holy guardian angel. It's a part of my subconscious. That's not the case. An angel is not a part of your subconscious. It can tap into your subconscious. Yes, it can. Just like your husband or wife, when they're in, or your lover or whatever, when they're sleeping with you and you're in bed at night and you got your eyes closed and your head's on the pillow and they're just like whispering in your ear, whispering, trying to get something in your subconscious. That's what that is, guys. They have the capability of getting your subconscious, and not just angels, not just demons. Any type of spiritual influence can enter your subconscious. Okay, so it's not exactly rocket science. It's not rocket science. Now, when we talk about the concept of an angelic being or any other type of entity, the very first thing we need to understand is we need to take the black and white out. Okay? Your holy guardian angel is not an entity that's here to judge you and send you straight to hell or straight to heaven. That's not how it works. That's not the design. It's actually the entity, okay? It's actually the entity that is with you when you come here to ensure that you can make it through your process here. You see, when you come here into this body, this big, huge piece of meat that we got going on called the body, your corporeal self, okay? Because you are an incarnate spirit. You are a spirit within a body. You are a spirit within a body, okay? You are a spirit living within a body. The body is a vehicle, okay? It's a vehicle. It's the only thing it is. It's a vehicle. It's got a temporality to it. It's got a beginning. It's got an end. Your spirit does not. Your spirit lives beyond this body, guys. Lives beyond this body. So when you come into your body, when you were a baby, you come into your body, as they say in Latin, tabula rasa, which means blank slate, flat table, tabula rasa. You come in, blank slate. You wake up, eyes open, taking the stuff out of your mouth when you're opening up your first breath. They do the Apgar. They smack you, right? You open your eyes, and you really don't have much consciousness of where you came from before. You don't remember past lives or anything like that yet. And you're not even aware of how to lift up your head yet. Baby is incapable of taking a nipple into its mouth to drink milk because it does not know what a nipple is, and so it will even reject a nipple. It will reject anything going into its mouth, yet at the same time, it will start screaming and crying because it's hungry and it needs milk. Because it's its first moments of life in an autonomous form outside of the womb, outside of where it was being held, outside of its umbilical cord. It's its first time outside of the body of the host, in this case, the mother who has created at least the body of this entity, which is us. And spirit came into this body, and then that's how life happens. Okay? Now, when we talk about spirit entering into this vessel, it goes into a vessel without knowledge of how to operate the vessel. That's where the Holy Spirit, that's where the Holy Guardian Angel, that's where the entire concept comes in. Spirit connects us with the entire divine source. That's how we're all connected. That's where our energy comes from. That's our source of energy. Whether we're good or bad does not matter. We all have that same source of energy. The end. Get rid of black and white, guys. Get rid of right and left. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. You have the capability to ascend beyond anything you can imagine. Even the people who are the most evil on this planet, by our definition, still have that same capability of ascending, right? So it's indiscriminate. So why are we discriminating? So we cannot discriminate with something that's indiscriminate by design, okay? What is discriminate by design is the limitation that we are placing on our own capacity to ascend, our own capacity to use magic, to do magic, to express and manifest. This is discriminant. And who is discriminating? Us against us ourselves. It is a self-discrimination. It is self-sabotage. And so the majority of people with their blockages or whatnot are in part because of self-sabotage. The end. Period. So when we talk about the concept of the holy guardian angel, the first thing we need to understand is that when we get here, this is a companion spirit that is kind of like assigned to our case. It's kind of like our caseworker, right? This is our caseworker who has kind of like a full confidentiality of what we do and what we don't do. This does not mean that this caseworker aids and abets us. It's not like an accessory to murder with us, right? It's not going. This holy guardian angel is not going to help us kill people. That's not either how it works. Okay, this holy guardian angel is an entity that, by all definition, is quite neutral and very much concerned with our welfare, our well-being, above all else. So our absolute will always be respected. But at the same time, whenever you're about to make a tragic mistake, you know that little feeling within your stomach where you feel like things are just going sour. You're feeling like there's like these, instead of having butterflies and that beautiful warm feeling, you got that really like I'm sick to my stomach kind of feeling. That would be your holy guardian angel talking to you. You see, all intuition is guided and influenced by the holy guardian angel. Our capacity to intuition is directly related to our holy guardian angel. This is kind of like the mechanism of operation, okay? So when you go into a room, you're like, for some reason, things seem weird here. I feel something off. I feel there's bad blood. Something doesn't seem right. Don't think it's because you are the next, Doctor Strange, right? You have got this magical, grand wizard capacity out of nowhere. It's because you've got a spiritual entity that is literally bound to you with the capacity to do what you and your physical body cannot do. Because by being without a physical body, your holy guardian angel is able to transcend both time, space, right? Interdimensional by definition. You see, our body limits us to one place at one time. The second we are without the body, we are liberated from the body. We can be at many places at the same time. We can do that's something that the human mind is incapable of understanding, right? We think that everything is, conformed to our structure of our physicality. That's not the case, and it will never be the case. We are way beyond that. Okay, we just haven't learned to use that yet, and so our time on this earth is kind of like our training camp. Okay, that's what the lives are about. They're training camps. They're moments of ascension. They're our capacity to keep vibrating higher and higher and higher. As we ascend, as we go through the rounds, right? We ascend one by one, step by step by step. Some of us faster than others, however. But the idea behind the holy guardian angel, this is an entity assigned to us. So it's not us. It's not a part of our subconscious. Many texts from back when I say back when, I'm talking about the last 100 years, have tried to say that, very Jungian, that that's part of our subconscious. And that it's not a shadow working thing, guys. We do have to do shadow working, absolutely. But the holy guardian angel helps us do it because the holy guardian angel is external to us, but has an intimate relationship with us and knows us better than anything else because it's assigned and bound to us. So it's with us everywhere. It's kind of like having your own servitor, which isn't exactly a servitor, but kind of like having, or your own familiar, okay, that is with you all the time. And so when you're about to make a mistake that will take you off of your timely course, it will correct your course. And it will correct your course, like I usually say in my courses, by one of two ways, okay? It will teach you through the chalkboard, the whiteboard, the chalkboard. It will teach you through the chalkboard, or it will teach you by hitting you upside your head with a board. Option one, option two. Learning through instruction, planned instruction, intentional instruction, or through trial and error. Trial and error, the problem is error, right? You lose through error. And each time you make an error, each time you commit an error, the payment gets higher and higher. The consequence is higher and higher. So the idea, the whole premise, the whole construct behind the holy guardian angel is to prevent you from taking that demise, that route, going that direction, right? To kind of guide you so that you're not here completely and empty. So, yes, you are born without an instruction manual. Yes, you are born without a standard operating procedure. But no, you are not unaccompanied. You do come with company. You do come with a guide. The problem is that at a certain period of time, we tend to neglect or ignore the guide. This is why children, this is why children, when you've noticed this throughout all of magic, you will see, and it's not something you can take my word on. I can give you a list of books that all these books will mention it. The majority of the texts that you find on the older texts, the classical texts about magic, will talk about scrying and divinations and whatnot, using a child to help you do that because they're a clear vessel. They're untainted. They're innocent still. Okay. Well, something that you need to understand with this as well isn't just that, guys. It's that when you are born and when you are a child, you also have this clarity that allows your holy guardian angel to be able to work much easier with you, and you actually pay more attention there. As opposed to when you get older and older and go through adolescence and then become an adult, you tend to stop paying attention to your holy guardian angel. Think about that as a hyperbole, right? You pay a lot of attention, you get a whole lot of use out of your holy guardian angel, because as a child, you're pretty impressionable. You've got this really high level of impulsivity, right? This is why kids 3, 4, 5 years old, scream and cry and yell and whatnot. You've got high level impulsivity because of your emotional boundaries. You're learning the way that you're understanding yourself, so to speak, right? Your concept of yourself, the fact that logic hasn't set in yet. A lot of things that are Ericksonian that we could see in terms of the stages of development, or what Piaget would mention, stages of development and childhood development. But what we also understand is that at that age, you're a very open vessel. So it's much easier for the holy guardian angel to work with you at that time. As time goes by, you start to shut that off. Children are notorious for creating servitors and having imaginary friends, aka servitors, right? So this happens all the time. Your holy guardian angel is an entity that will have clear communication with you. And as time progresses, you start to close yourself off. When you get to being an adult, you start to kind of your age, right? 13, 14, 15, up until about 30 something years old. That age where you think you know everything, you're going to do everything. You basically screw up lots of stuff. And then afterwards, you're like, why did it happen to me? That period, that very specific period. Well, in that very specific period, you kind of close yourself off to your holy guardian angel. And so when we see in Kabbalah, for example, Kabbalah Masit, when you get to 40 years old, you start going through that dark night of the soul. You ever heard that one? Dark night of the soul? You start going through a moment that pushes you and just beats the crap out of you until you decide to open up that big old block that you got around you and be open up to spirituality again. It just breaks through you until you can open up again. That is classically, in almost all of spiritual literature, it's classically around those 40 years old, right? That's why I mentioned between, 13, 14, 15, and the 30 years old marker, because right after the 30-year-old marker, when someone's around 33, 34 years old, between there and the 40-year marker is when your spirituality starts to go into hyperdrive because you want to get right back to basics again. So think about this as a hyperbole. That's why I said it that way. You start off as a child completely innocent. Then you start to close yourself off to spirituality. And then you go to hyperspeed again towards your spirituality. And as you get closer and closer and closer to your departure from the physical world, the more spiritual you tend to get, right? So again, there's an entire process to this. And this process is just about for all humanity. It's not something that's excluded or relegated to just one culture or another. So the concept of your holy guardian angel isn't just a spirit hanging around. It's not just a part of your psyche. Please be clear on this. It's an actual entity. It's an entity that's there. It's an entity that will raise the hair on your arm, will make you feel cold or warm when you walk into a room, will make you feel this really weird feeling in your stomach, will make you feel if the person in front of you is your soulmate. So you're like, hey, I saw that woman. I saw that man on the train. I saw them, and it was Kismet. It was Kismet. I saw them, and I knew. I just knew that was the woman from. I just knew it. I knew she was my soulmate. Guys, holy guardian angel. Okay? Gotta understand that. Holy guardian angel will influence that in you. So when you see someone, you're like, I trust them, I don't trust them. Holy guardian angel. Okay? When you're about to step into somewhere, you're like, I am not getting into that taxi. Oh, come on now, let's go in the taxi. I'm not getting in that taxi. Why not? Because I got a feeling. Guys, holy guardian angel. Get that. Understand that. Other examples. You're in your path to magic. Lots of you guys are here because of that. You're now in your path to magic. You're learning about magic. You want to learn more and more because you want to change your life. You want to make money. You might want to change your love life. You want to change, as they'd say, your stars. You want to change, modify your life. Okay, wonderful. So as time goes by, you want to learn more and more about magic. And so as time goes by and you start learning more about magic, you start to have questions. Have you ever noticed that when you start to have questions about specific stuff, like out of nowhere, answers kind of like pop up? You're like, whoa, how did that happen? I was just talking about that the other day. And boom, Facebook. Boom, somebody mentions it. Out of nowhere, things start to happen. Guys, hello, hello, hi, Holy Guardian Angel again. So, as you can see, the concept of the Holy Guardian Angel, it is an extremely strong ally in your life. This is not an ally taking score, to punish you later on in the afterworld. No, that's not it. It is an ally. Ally. Now, for some of us, we think it's a man or a woman. Guys, again, stop being so human for a second. Okay, shed the weakness of the humanity. It is neither man or woman. Angels tend to be concepts of perfection, both in one. What is above is below. What is man is woman. Perfection is both. You can't have something perfect separated in half. Okay, man is half, woman is half. Separated in half is not perfect. Perfect is whole. It's 100%. So angelic entities, these entities, appear to us in the form that's most agreeable. They appear to us in the way that we can accept them, in the way that we will be most ready to work with them, understand them. This is why you'll see, for example, Goetia spirits like Booney. Some people see Duchess Booney, and some of us will see, Duke Booney. You'll see it as a man, you'll see it as a woman. It's not because man or woman. It's because it manifests itself the way it's better for us to see. The same exact way it can manifest itself as a tremendous monster, scare people off if it was necessary, right? But this is not the nature of the entity. The entity, at the end of the day, is energy, manifest in the way that we're capable of seeing it. So when we talk about the Holy Guardian Angel, you must understand your Holy Guardian Angel will manifest itself in the way we are ready to see them throughout each stage of our life. So when you're a child, may manifest itself in one form. When you get older, it will manifest itself in another form. As you go through time, as you go through each stage of your life, it may manifest itself in different forms. Understand that, okay? Because a lot of you guys are like, I want to know if my guardian angel is lavender colored and has little stars. If that's what's most comfortable to you and you identify with, I'm pretty sure that's probably going to be how it will manifest. Not because that's your guardian angel, but because that's kind of like your interlocution, your way of being able to communicate with, your way of being able to connect best with. This does not mean that its true self, its true nature is going to be lavender, okay? What it means is that your way of interfacing with it is this way, okay? We got to be very clear on this because any spirits, including your holy guardian angel, will manifest themselves in the way that is most comfortable with you, okay? Now, another thing that we also need to understand is that the cultural context and the context of from where you come from will also influence the way that it manifests and the type of stigmas that you may have when you see these entities, okay? So you got to be very careful with that. Now, a lot of people also are going to mention, when I see my guardian angel, I think I can just feel it. Okay. We must understand that there are different levels to communication, knowledge, and communication with the holy guardian angel, which we'll be mentioning, okay? When we talk about knowledge and communication with your holy guardian angel, there are certain levels, okay? The level that we should all have, without exception, is through intuition and the sense of presence, okay? Again, intuition and the sense of presence, sensing presence. I don't care if you are the most closed off person on the planet, you will always sense presence. No way, there's and like out of your wits and kind of like chained to a chair, maybe you might not feel anything, right? I can get that, right? But if you are in your right mind and in a state of sobriety, you should be able to feel the presence, not being something grabbing your arm and like, oh my god, it grabbed my arm. That's not what I meant. Presence goes from so little as feeling the warmth of something there, possibly feeling a change in the air. You feel it within you, kind of like giving you almost goosebumps, or kind of like the warm fuzzies, as I call it, which is very low level, low intensity feeling. As time goes by, as you develop a relationship and you kind of synchronize yourself, that's the beauty, for example, with Jareth and his attunements and the attunements that you do in Reiki and whatnot, okay? An attunement will put you on the same wavelength with something, put you in the same energy signature. It will put you in the same wavelength. Okay, that's why it's called attunement, like tuning your radio. You are on the same energy signature. You share the same energy signature. You are off signatures, you're off energy waves, and now you're on the same wave. You are now calibrated. Okay, calibration does not mean you're gonna have contact. Doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot if you don't use it. Right. So having somebody's phone number means nothing if you don't pick up the phone. Same deal with attunements. You got to use them, guys. It's not just about having it. You got to use them. That's how this works. Same exact concept here. Your holy guardian angel is with you all over the place. But for you to be able to truly be able to, as time goes by, develop a relationship and feel the presence ever so more so that it is now unmistakable, it requires interaction. That's why, for example, in Abraham Alim mentions the 18 months, because it's interaction. And as you interact, so grows the relationship. But 18 months, that's a very specific point of time that he's put there, but that's not exactly very traditional. Abraham Alim has a very Coptic feel to a lot of stuff that he's done, even though Jewish, so to speak, found in Egypt. Abraham Alim was in Egypt, and a lot of the traditions and a lot of the rituals there come from traditions from our tradition, right? And for us, we don't have an 18-month limit. It's not a 6-month or an 18-month or a 3-year or a 5-year. Actually, for us in our initiation and the Coptic side of things as a Dabtera, you got to have communication, knowledge, interaction with your holy guardian angel to be initiated. That's kind of like our first step of entry. Okay, so for me, as opposed to other people, this is kind of like really natural. But lots of people are making this into something that way beyond what it is. Now, as time goes by, your interaction with your holy guardian angel will grow. And yes, you will feel more presence. And yes, you will be able to get to the point where you're actually able to speak to your holy guardian angel. Now, when I say speak to your holy guardian angel, I'm not talking about you're sitting down and it's on the couch next to you and it's like, hey there, how are you doing? Right? No. Don't go there, guys. Don't go there. You might need some ayahuasca or something like that. Or, for those of you who go Timothy Leary and go all LSD-ish on that, maybe that might do it for you, right? But no. That's not it, guys. No. The communication that spirits do with us in a very realistic format, if you're not using some type of a medium, okay? If you're not using some type of a medium, there are mediums. Fluid condensers, like Franz Barton has mentioned, very, very useful, work really well. The Trimethius disc method, for example, you can use it with the crystal ball. You can also use evocation and the obsidian mirror, and there will be writing. Yes, there will. I use this on a daily basis. Yes, there will be writing. Okay, so you will have communication there. But there are other methods. Ouija boards do this as well, and there's lots of ways, guys. Don't think that there's just one or two ways. Lots of ways of having communication. The idea is, how do you make sure that it's the right spirit, and how are you attaining the correct communication? And this has to be dealt with over time. So there are ritual sets, like we're going to be seeing, ritual sets, very specific stuff, that what it does, it's not a ritual that connects you to your holy guardian angel. What it does is it clears out all the garbage so that you can see clearly to your holy guardian angel. Okay? That's what it does. At the end of the day, it's what it does. And see, the problem here is nobody's actually explaining this. Everybody's saying, the Stella of Jehu and the Bornless ritual, it gives you, it makes you talk to your holy guardian. No, it does not make you do any of the sort. What it does is it clears out all of the garbage that's between you and the holy guardian angel. Okay? So, before I go further and put this in here, I'm going to be putting up the presentation right now. Okay? I'm going to see some of the comments here that you guys have made, and I will answer them as always. I like answering everything that everybody has. So give me a second, and 1 second. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are live from Mexico. Hold on a second. Okay, so we got that there. And so that we can see everything together. Okay, so first question. Okay, we're going back. Okay, good morning from London. Good morning. Give me 1 second here so I can take just 1 second to say hello to everybody. So, Laco, hello. I believe you're in the UK right now, right? Joel, hello. Alicia, hello. Jamie, hello. Diana, hello. Monica, hello there, Monica. Kate, my dearest Kate, how are you? Amanda, hello. Luisa, hello. Agni, hello. Kushal, Ubadaya, the man, Mr. Bitcoin himself, the inventor of new Bitcoins out there. Okay, uh, Philanda, my dear, hello. Mr. Brown, Mr. DK Brown, it is a pleasure. John Andrew, my friend, how's everything in Venezuela Landia? So, Luigi, my friend, how are you and your mom? Hello. Loli, hi. Shah, hello. Sony, my dear. Sony Michelle, my dear, how are you? Joanna, hello. Tina, how's everything out there in Canada? Francisco, Donnie, how's everything in Brazil, my friend? Tope, how's everything out there in Ireland, right? Andrea, hello, Andrea, how are you? Miriam, how's everything in France? Okay, guys, it's so good to see all of you. I believe I said everybody's name, and if I didn't say anybody's name right now, please forgive me. Okay, so let me put this down. Hello, hello, hello. It's a pleasure seeing all of you. Okay, all good. Oh, well, I hope you're well. I can imagine. So let's go into your questions, please, before we go on, because I like using your questions as springboard. Okay, so serendipitous timing. Okay. Benefits of working. I'm going to be talking about going over the working with the Holy Guardian Angel, but I just mentioned a few of the benefits right now, actually. Okay. So which words? Got to thinking gray, not black, white. Good. Thinking gray. Magicians, sorcerers, wizards should always be gray. We're not black. We're not white. My Holy Guardian Angel's on strike. No, not at all, Tope. Your Holy Guardian Angel is never on strike. Might think that you do some crazy stuff, but cannot be on strike. Does not. You got to remember that's the beauty of them being angels. They cannot exercise their own free will. So the second they exercise their own free will, they fall from grace. So they are assigned to you, and whether you do good or bad or whatever, there they are, scratching their head, but there they are. Right? Does Lucifer? Does Lucifer want to get back to heaven? I guess he has a pretty great relationship with other archangels. Okay, first things first. Outcast. That's a strong word. That's pretty strong. That's some strong words right there. Okay, Lucifer, fallen angel. Yes. Will always be an angel forever and ever. Yes, because once an angel is an angel, it's kind of like your DNA. Once you are ascended, once you're at that, once you have that consecration, so to speak, you never lose that, right? All of his brothers, so to speak, his brethren are angels, right? So that's a very touchy subject there. However, if he's not in agreement with Dad's house, right, that means he's no longer living in Dad's house. He's never, he's not receiving anything from Dad anymore. That means that if he's not receiving anything from Dad and he's no longer in Dad's house, that does not mean that he's specifically an outcast. He can still talk to his brothers and whatnot. He's just not receiving any more help or assistance from, he does his own thing. He makes his own energy. That's why we give offerings. This is why with Goetia and other types of demons, whatnot, we give offerings because we raise energy for them. We give them energy. We're providing them with energy because they're not connected to, the main power source anymore. So they get their own energy. It's nothing to do with good or bad. Some go the bad route. Some go the good route. Again, that's like with everything in the universe, right? So would he like to go back to go back to heaven? Um, I think it's a little bit more. I think there's a really big problem with that, right? I believe while we have this whole issue of who is who, until that's resolved, I don't think there's anybody going back anywhere right now. Okay, so, but that again is not my authority to talk about, right? Would one's holy guardian angel intervene in next? Yes, absolutely. Holy guardian angels do a whole lot of that. Holy guardian angels will tell you to make a left instead of a right. Holy guardian angels will tell you to make a step on a break. Holy guardian angels will tell you don't you dare go to that person's house. Holy guardian angel will tell you just say no, and you'll be like, I'm not gonna say no, and they're like, please say no, and you're like, I'm not gonna say no, and then you get into trouble. And you're like, I should have just said no. That would be your holy guardian angel telling you, basically begging you. Again, like Toby said, holy guardian angel probably ignores you. That's not the case. Holy guardian angel will still tell you, right? But at the end of the day, you've got your absolute will, and you do or do not pay attention. The end, right? This kind of thing, right or left, black or white, silly meth, right? Good or bad? Good or bad? It's exactly it. Franz Barton on the money. It's all about consequence. Good and bad, consequence. What you do with it. Your use of your will is what you decide to do. And the consequences are what they are, right? So that's basically how that works. Now, um, the divine, right? Well, the concept of God, we are all connected to the same. So it's not like something separate. Um, beautiful. Okay. Okay, kind of a stupid question. There are no stupid questions. Is the HEA the entity that's assigned to you from? No, no. You got three different angels that are assigned to you. These are angels that are like shepherding you for specific things in your life. Your holy guardian angel is assigned to you not according to your birth date. You need to think of it as a assignation or assignment based off of specificity to bloodline and things of this nature, right? So there are guardian angels that are assigned due to bloodlines. For example, with us, that's a pretty clear case, but assigned to bloodlines, very specific. It's not something that's indiscriminate where you were born from what date to what date. No, those are specific Shem angels and whatnot that are assigned due to that. But one of the things that magic doesn't explain to you in the books is it's not just the Shem angel. It's not just the three. You've got the Shem angels. You've also got the 42 angels. You've got a bunch of angels that are kind of like assigned. It's kind of like living in a certain region or a certain zone, right? Your phone company has certain services assigned to that zone. You got a certain team of people assigned for that because in that zone, okay, that would be that group of angels. Your holy guardian angel is way beyond that, okay? Way beyond that. This is a holy guardian angel that is with you from beginning to end and is responsible as like your caseworker for everything. So even when you commit big crimes or whatnot, this is not an angel that's writing your Akashic records. Okay, this is not Metatron, so to speak. Well, for those of you who have Holy Guardian Angel as Metatron, that would be kind of like the problem there. But for those who are in priesthood situations, right, Aaronic priesthoods, things of this nature, Metatron is your Holy Guardian Angel, kind of like be a default because that's kind of like decided that way. And so that's where the whole karma with the 9 times instead of it being 3 times the karma, 9 times the karma for the priesthood. That's why that comes in, right? But that's something that, at least in our tradition, the Coptic side, we have that as a premise. Okay, so why do little evil things still happen to little children? Of course, it can prevent. And the state, the question Amanda says, why do evil things still happen to little children? Isn't the Holy Guardian Angel to prevent? Okay, able to prevent up to speaking in your ear, but can't actually physically move stuff. So can whisper in the parent's ear, "Hey, don't you dare take your kid there." And so there's mom and dad, absolutely ignoring them, right? Your holy guardian angel, yes, can prevent lots of stuff from happening. The problem is if we pay attention or not. So, let me be very clear about this. Your mom and dad could prevent you from cutting off a finger, right? But as a child, you'd be like, I don't care, I'm gonna do it anyways, and you cut your finger off. So, are you gonna blame mom and dad for that? Even though mom and dad did their job, due diligence, they told you not to, and you did it anyways. Same deal with the holy guardian angel. Screaming, no, don't you do it. And you're like, I'm going to do it anyway. So some of us have that kind of a temperament, and we just have to learn that way, right? So that's one of the bigger problems there. Now, again, we also need to understand that many of us as humans have this really big problem with life and death, right? You live, you die. Oh my God, this person died. Oh, I'm so distraught they died. Guys, death is the liberation from your body. You're right now basically enslaved in your body. There's nothing better, greater, more incredible than being liberated from it. Quite honestly. You can be everywhere, anywhere, connected to all without it. While you're in it, you are basically enslaved to the body. You're a slave to time. You're a slave to your health. You are a slave to many conditions while you're still in there. Your spirit is way beyond your body. Your body is extremely inferior to your spirit. Your spirit is, by all definition, infinitely superior to your body. So having your body coupled with your spirit is basically taking a superior being, you, and placing you into an inferior vehicle, right? It's having a billionaire driving a Honda Civic from the 80s, guys. You know what I'm saying? A little Volkswagen Bug from the 70s. A billionaire driving it. You've got this magnificent spirit driving a decrepit body, a body that's only got like 100 years of life going on. When your spirit's got millions upon millions of eons of life in it. You see where I'm going with this? So we got to be really careful when we think about the whole life-death concept. Because we all have past lives that could come from trauma, DNA. Absolutely what Sony said. That was Goodness, what can I say? I couldn't have said it better than her. Okay, yes, this is true. So, ancestral is partly correct. Some powerful words. Well, I have to say something, Amanda. One of the bigger things that people don't like about Moloch is way back when Moloch used to ask for these types of sacrifices, right? He used to ask for them, and so you've got entire cultures where that has happened too. So again, what can I say? That's a big, big situation. So let's keep going. Lucifer is not an outcast. Amen. Okay. Can the HGA help us manifest our wishes, our magic? Yes, but what happens here, and what I'm going to be getting into right now, is it will help you by guiding you towards a clear path to the magic. Your holy guardian angel is the go-to. If you look at the Abralim, okay, if you look at the Abralim is very clear, and I will read it as such, okay? Here it says, for example, there is a chapter which says, how the good spirits are called, okay? And so when we talk about this, it will say, it says, and I quote, says, my son, you will see how well you have done over the 18 months when your guardian angel, the chosen angel of Adonai, of over the 18 months. He's not saying that at the end of 18 months. He's not saying, the first month or the 18th month. He's saying over the 18 months. So over this period, okay, says the chosen angel of Adonai. Again, holy guardian angel, chosen angel of Adonai. Angel assigned to you, okay? A delightful and good angel appears before you in its radiance and speaks to you in such a friendly, sweet words beyond what any human tongue could express. Okay. The guardian angel remind, again, like I said, over time you develop the relationship, the strength of the communication gets stronger and stronger over time. Okay. So I can understand the 18 months part for you to be able to have that level of communication. I can get that. So the guardian angel will remind you what he has done for you and how you had insulted him in the past. So for some of you, like for example, Topic said, hey, my holy guardian angel doesn't like me anymore. Well, they're answering your question a little bit. This holy guardian angel will remind you, right, of what is done for you and how you've insulted him in the past. He will tell you how to please him in the future. Now, that's not exactly true, okay? We do not please our holy guardian angel. So Abram Malim is kind of off on that one. We don't please our holy guardian angel. Our holy guardian angel is not our servant. It's not our lap boy. It doesn't work that way, okay? He will also explain to you what is the true wisdom and where it comes from. If and how you failed in your work, what you lack, how you should behave to control the unredeemed spirits, and how to achieve all you desire. You will be overcome with so much friendliness that my guidance will seem like nothing. Okay, so what on earth did Abraham Lim say with that? What's he saying? And it's interesting because he goes into this, but he doesn't go into a whole lot of depth. When we do our initiation, we go into a little bit further. We go a lot further than this. But what he's saying here is, and I like using this text because a lot of you guys, again, dogma, you guys love people quoting from text. So I'm kind of like relegated to having to do this because, I don't want to get into any fights, any intellectual fights with anybody. So I'll go straight to the book, right? So here you go. It says, he will tell you how to please him in the future. Well, not exactly please him in the future. It's more like please the divine, but, whatever. He will explain to you about true wisdom. So that's the first part. Does this angel help you with your wishes or magic? Yes, because it tells you where to go and what to do. Number one. Two, we'll tell you where it comes from. Not only where it comes from, but it's also going to tell you where you're going, where we're coming from, and where we're going. Okay? Really, truly illuminate you as to perspective of what's important, what's not. So you're saying right now, can help us manifest our wishes or our magic. Well, guys, guess what? When you get to really truly knowing, probably change. True story. Will probably change. What does that mean? What's Monir saying about that? What does that mean? Will probably change. What am I saying? Okay, what I'm saying here, guys. What I'm saying here is, what your wishes are will probably change as you get closer to your holy guardian angel, because you might be really set on going out with some woman or some man, and you just want your magic to do that. You just want them. And because your holy guardian angel has this knowledge that you don't have and knows where that's going, they will be very clear about, what, if you do this, and that, if you do A, B, and C, D will happen. And so you're like, yeah, but I still want to go out with her. What? Your holy guardian angel will give you very specific clarity as to where you're going, what you're doing, what you should and what you shouldn't be doing. And again, you as a good old-fashioned human being will do whatever the hell you want and you're probably not going to pay attention. So that's why the Holy Guardian Angel kind of like puts you in check first. Like, hey, I've been around. I told you this. I told you that. You didn't listen to me. You lost your finger, anyways. Good job there. Good job there, boss. Good job. You lost your finger, right? And at the same exact way, when you want to get your wishes, because your wishes, again, are from a human being who's been around for a little bit of time and is going to be on this earth for about 100 years. That's it, maybe. And you're going to be asking for something that's just so absurd. And your Holy Guardian Angel is like, why does this guy even ask for these stupid things, right? When you could be asking for something much more deserving, something much more. And so that's the problem a lot of people don't seem to understand with Holy Guardian Angel. You automatically think that your Holy Guardian Angel is going to come down and appear to you like the genie out of Aladdin, right? You go rubbing that lamp, and boom, there's the genie out of Aladdin. Wow, grant me my 3 wishes, please. Right? No. No spells no. Your Holy Guardian Angel is not your lapdog. Your Holy Guardian Angel is not your Dobie. Your mystical slave. It's not that way, guys. So you're not gonna try and make your Holy Guardian Angel give you what you want. It's not gonna work that way. Okay. Your Holy Guardian Angel will always work in your favor and will do everything to speed up results in magic for you, and will make results in magic happen very fast if they are for you. So if you ask for something that will destroy you, what do you think your Holy Guardian Angel is going to say? Be like, you know what? The day you destroy yourself, I'll still be here for you. Your Holy Guardian Angel will not pull the trigger with you. And when you do it either. When you're laying on the ground, can you guys see me again? Hello, hello. Okay. Every once in a while, if internet stuff goes out, this will happen. So you gotta bear with the little last week now. So that's been kind of like a big topic for me. And that I've been so busy with rituals and stuff within the last week and nations all over the place. So back on subject. Okay. Now, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so getting back. When we talk about your holy guardian angel, you got to understand that your holy guardian angel will always be there to pick you back up again. Now, the best way for you to approach your holy guardian angel to make your magic better or faster, okay, is before you actually talk about your wishes or your magic, ask your holy guardian angel what's the best for you. Not a problem. Ask your holy guardian angel to tell you what's best for you. So in the Damon Brand book, he's got a few very specific ritual kinds of situations there that kind of get you in context, so those things can be revealed. That's kind of like the logic behind the sigil with the 72 angels and things like that. Will syntonize you, will get you in sync with, so that you can get that information, get back on track, right? But before you start doing magic and calling your holy guardian angel, the very first thing you should be asking is, hey, and I've mentioned this a few times, and for those of you who don't remember, in Patreon, I've got this. I'm pretty sure I have that in a few of the videos or whatnot. I've said, and I'll say it again. When you're doing magic and things like that, and you want to know what's best for you, or you want to know what's correct, you should specifically say this. Say the following, right? You can say, Holy Guardian Angel, okay? Guide me, and start with your head on down, okay? Guide me so that I can think what I should think and that I do not think what I should not. So that I can see what I should see and that I do not see what I shouldn't. So that I can hear what I should hear and not hear what I shouldn't. So that I can say what I should say and not say what I shouldn't. Guide me so that I can heart, feel what I should and not feel what I shouldn't. Hands, so that I can use my hands so I can do what I should and not do what I shouldn't. Then you move down to feet, that I should walk towards or go to what I should and walk away from what I shouldn't. That's a very basic, very simple, hands, feet, and toes, from the head on down method for when you're talking to your holy guardian angel. You can also use this for any spirit, okay? If you've got familiars or any type of spirit you're working with, you can use this. It's a very simple way of basically asking for intervention. Hey, stop, drop, and roll. Hey, before I do anything, guide me so that I can do. Okay? And so basically you've just set up parameters, right? Parameter uno, number one, wahed, right? First parameter, okay? First parameter one, I need to know what I should. And parameter two, dos, itnen. Number two, second parameter, tell me what I shouldn't. Okay? The very first thing that Solomon was asked by the divine source when talked to him was, I'll give you anything and everything, Solomon. What do you want? I really cared a lot about your father David. Hey, now that you're going to be the king, what do you want? And what did he ask for? He said, teach me, right, to discern between good and bad and give me knowledge. And so divine source was extremely just, whoa, wow, you could have asked me for everything in the universe and you asked me for that. And so what did divine source say? Okay, not only will I give you that, Solomon, but I'm also going to fill you with riches and all kinds of other stuff because of what you said, okay? So you want to use that kind of like, there's a reason behind that, right? You want to use that kind of like as your guidance, okay? That's your guidance. That's kind of like your guiding light there, okay? Now, if you do this, I guarantee you that in all of your rituals, you'll start to notice out of nowhere that the right words will just kind of like spout out of your mouth, whether you like it or not. And if you try and say something incorrect in a ritual, not only will you feel it's wrong, but I promise you that your holy guardian angel and any other spirit will probably stop you from doing it. Like I've said many times before, it's kind of like when you go to the store. If you've asked through intention to spend wisely and break through your financial mindsets. When you are about to buy something that's going to break down on you, your holy guardian angel will literally stop you, and your card won't work. Your ATM card won't work. Your credit card won't work. You'll want to go somewhere and the car won't work. Give you a really good example. Somebody will try and steal from your house. They'll try and steal your truck. They'll try and steal your truck, your car, maybe your kid's car, right? And they'll try and leave with the car. They'll try and steal the car and leave, and maybe a block down the road, they won't be able to go anywhere. The car will no longer work. They'll either bring the car back or they'll leave the car where it is. Okay? That's kind of like the intervention of Holy Guardians. It's kind of like how it works, okay? So you got to be very, very clear on this, on how you're using it. If you're going to ask for things that are against you, against your greater good, sorry guys, your Holy Guardian Angel is not designed for that. Your Holy Guardian Angel is designed for your greater good in spite of you. So there's the crazy part, in spite of you, okay? So does that make sense? Bandwidth archons acting up again. Yes, sir. No dimmer urge, right? Here, Holy Guardian Angel, please ask to thump him upside his head and have his tongue feel like it's on fire when he speaks. He does. Okay. Quite honestly, you can ask the Holy Guardian Angel, to correct somebody. Yes, you can. Okay. Can you repeat the process one more? Of course I can repeat the process. Just give me 1 second. Let me put up the slides because, I'm going to get into the ritual sets, but of course I will. Absolutely. It is my pleasure. Okay. So, you want to start with the head and you want to work your way down to the feet. Okay. So the way we want to do this, give me a second. I'm gonna share the slides here. Let's close this message and let's share screen, and unfocus. You can see me. You can see this. Okay, perfect. So, okay, let's do this together, guys. You guys ready? Is that a yes or a no? Are we ready? Are we ready? So I can do the whole the guidance. Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. Yay! No problem. Okay, so here you go. Holy Guardian Angel, or whatever spirit you want, okay? Because it works for just about all of them, but this is a very specific type of invocation. You say, guide me to think about what I should and to not think about what I shouldn't, okay? Then you move down to eyes. The reason why I say from up to down is so that you don't forget, okay? Eyes. So you start with the head, down to the eyes. Next in line, right? To the eyes. Guide me to see what I should and to not see what I shouldn't. Okay? Then from there, you go right to the ears, which is right next down. Okay? Guide me to hear what I should and to not hear what I shouldn't. That's very important because a lot of us don't hear things. People are talking, we don't hear what's important. You do that and it will help, trust me. Right down to your mouth to say what I should and to not say what I shouldn't, which is probably by far one of the most tricky things in the universe, right? Then you move down to your heart and then you say, guide me to feel what I should and to not feel what I shouldn't, or to not feel what I shouldn't, right? To avoid feeling what I shouldn't feel, right? Okay. Then, right below the heart, you can see you got your hands down here, right? So you go, to do, hands are for doing. To do, or to labor towards what I should. And to not do, or not labor towards what I shouldn't. Got it? Then, you move down to your feet. I once had a friend, side note, when I was in initiation. Well, a little bit after that, but, got to remember we were, 18, 19 years old then, right? So, hormones, all they could do. I had a friend kind of joke around about, what's between the belly button and the, and your feet, right there between the legs, right? Tell me to what I shouldn't, what I shouldn't. So, please, guys, don't do that. Okay, so learn from him and don't do that. Okay. That's the thing. But, to each their own. But that's what happens when you're that age learning magic. So getting back on subject, right? With maturity, we go right down to the feet, okay? And you say, to move, to walk, very inevitable. to move, to walk towards what you should, right? To go towards, move towards what you should, and to walk away from or to leave what you shouldn't, what's not for you. Think about that for a second. How profound is that, right? So basically, tell me how to discern, right? Inspire me in discernment, basically, right? 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 Set aflame the passion in my spirit, but guiding me towards what I should and avoiding at all costs what is not for me. Okay? So there are a million ways to get some of the most deepest desires you have in your heart in the way that you should. You just got to make sure that it is aligned with what's best for you. So yes, you can be rich. Yes, you can have anything you want in this world, but it might not be the exact person you want, or it might not be the exact car that you want, or the exact house that you want. And that's the idea. The idea is, yes, you can have what you want fundamentally, but it should not be out of the desire just because, out of the arrogance of it. Okay? So stepping stones are fine. Correct. So let's keep going, shall we? Now, I like the word discernment. The word should bothers me. Too much super ego. I'll have to find something. Well, I think the way you could approach the should is from this point of view, my friend. So, Mr. Brown, let's try this. Okay. Guide me towards what is beneficial. Okay. And distance me from what is not beneficial. How about that one, right? So what is beneficial and distance me, right, from what is not beneficial. Okay? Okay, so at the end, it's a question of beneplacit, right? What is beneplacit and what could be malefic in your life, right? So guide me towards the beneficial, right? And distance me from what is malefic in my life, right? What is detrimental. So it can be beneficial and detrimental, right? Guide me towards the beneficial and distance me from the detrimental, right? However you want to. But at the end of the day, remember that the rule is, without dogma, the rule is everything that is beneficent to your person, that will guide you, that will grow with you and grow you, and everything that will hinder you should be set asunder, cast aside. Okay? Now, hinder what? Hinder your growth, hinder your progress, hinder your ascension at the end of the day. So, going back on to the concept of these rituals and these concepts. So let's get into the medulla of this, okay? When we talk about the headless, bornless, still Jehu, we've mentioned quite a bit about it, and the relationship Holy Guardian Angel. I kind of jumped into that straight away because I believe that a lot of you guys have that kind of like your main concept here. This part of the presentation has been done from basically a month ago, so I didn't want to change anything, but I did want to start off going through the second and third points of this, kind of like from the very beginning. But when we talk about the headless, bornless rite, okay, these are some of the traditional. I don't even know why. Right. Why does that say that? I have no idea what that is there. Give me a second. Let me get that off of there because that shouldn't even be there to begin with. 1 second, guys. I have no idea why I left that into my slides. Off you go. Okay. This is the right stuff. Okay, so there you go. That's the right stuff. We're transmitting in live. So, here's the right stuff. So, the headless, bornless, Stela Jehu, right? Okay, so when we talk about the Stela Jehu, it is a ritual that you'll find in the PGM. You're like, what is a PGM? Okay, PGM, the Greek magical papyrus. You're like, but Greek magical papyrus, isn't that a GMP? Okay, yeah, but when you say it in Latin, it's PGM, Papyrus Graeci Magici, right? PGM, the Greek, in English, the Greek magical papyrus, okay? So, when we talk about the PGM, you're like, the PGM. So exactly, my friend, what is a PGM and how does that work? And where can I go out and buy me one of them? Do they sell them in green or what do they look like, right? What's a PGM? Who's Mr. PGM? Okay, first off, there is no Mr. PGM. Okay, Mr. PGM, there's no Mr. PGM. Okay, exactly who's the author of that PGM there? Hey, you told me there's a PGM out there, who wrote that PGM by chance? Okay. First and foremost, the PGM is not something written by one guy. The PGM is a compilation of many papyrus documents. And you heard what I said, papyrus. Yeah, just like it was said, papyrus. Papyruses, not, parchments. And no, no, no. These are Greek magical papyrus. Now, the reason they say Greek magical papyrus is because lots of them are written in Greek. Bunch of them are written also in Coptic, right? So Coptic, Egyptian, Coptic, hello, my tradition, Coptic, okay, is very similar to Greek, not the same language, very similar. We got lots of words that are different. We pronounce things differently. We've even got different letters, not all of them, but we have different letters, okay? So you've got these papyrus in these two languages. These Greek magical papyrus, you're like, oh, so it's got to do with Zeus. Not really. There are rituals and there are papyrus that have Zeus and all of the Olympic spirits, yes. But then there's lots that have the Hebrew traditions of magic and lots of other stuff. For example, Gnostic types of traditions. You will find things related to Abraxas, and we just keep going on, okay? And you will find lots of Kemetic, ancient Egyptian Kemetic, our tradition, ancient Kemetic magic in there. So you will find Oceanophrys, which we'll be talking about right now. You will find Isis. You will find lots of this there, okay? So there's a mixture of traditions due to the fact that Egypt was a hub for culture, was a hub for, at that point in time, technology at that time, was a hub for civilization in terms of knowledge and the learned community, so to speak, okay? It was a scholarly community. It was a cultural mixing point. It was a point of reunion, so to speak, a point of cultural inflection between many, many cultures. So this boils down to a merger of lots of stuff. And so even the Coptic language is a merger between some Latin, some Greek, and the same old, good old-fashioned Kemetic, traditional, ancient Egyptian language. So you're going to find words in Coptic that are ancient Egyptian. You're going to find words in Coptic that are Greek, and you're going to find words in Coptic that are of Latin origin. Okay, so the reason why Coptic was made, the language Coptic was made, the reason why it was constructed was to make a familiar language to the principal cultures that were basically doing business and commercializing whatnot throughout Egypt as a port, okay? Throughout Alexandria, Iskandria, we say in Arabic, Alexandria, which is a port city to the north of the country, right, on the Mediterranean. So this specific city, which was a very pivotal city throughout all of time until now, right? Alexandria, you've got the Library of Alexandria, just lots of other stuff there. But you'll find that there's a very strong Greek community with lots of documents, and so you'll find mergers between the Olympics and the Olympic magic, right? Hellenistic magic and all that, and you'll find lots and lots with Turkish magic because of the same influence there, right? The Ottomans. And way before the Ottomans, the entire concept of the tribal types of complexes of magic and the pantheons, as well as Persian types of magic, and I could just keep going on. You can find Asian types of magic come down from there, as well as you can find all of the classical European concepts go in as well, which stem from the basic Latin on back, right? So you'll find lots of magic mixed together in the document. So for some people, automatically you think, the word Greek, that means that. No. You got to understand that this is a document that's got a bunch of pantheons of magic built into it. And for some of you who are like, I just practice voodoo and I just practice hoodoo. Okay, let me just say a big note here on the side for those of you who do not know this, that the voodoo traditions, the hoodoo traditions, the Yoruba traditions, the African traditions are highly influenced by Egypt. A lot of the magic that came out of Egypt went down into Africa and mixed with the traditions of, they say the cunning man, that the tribal traditions were mixed. So a lot of Solomonic magic and a lot of Kemetic magic was mixed into these pantheons of magic. So you will find in the Yoruba systems, you will find in even in some of the island traditions, for example, Obeah and everything, you will find the very specific relationship between Solomonics, Kemetics, and these types of magic. So For some of you are like, it's all different. I practice a different type of magic. Actually, no. They've all got pretty much the same basis, just different ways of approaching it. So when we look at the PGM, one of the very first things you'll notice is that you've got like this really rich mix of rituals throughout it. Okay. But one of the interesting things you'll also find with this mix is you're going to find that some of these traditions and some of these rituals use lots of really wild ingredients that were relevant at the period of time when it was written. In the specific case of the Stele of Jehu, you will find that this is a ritual that is very low, very, very, very little demanding, so to speak. Really doesn't demand a whole lot. You use basically a piece of papyrus or a piece of paper, and then you actually say something, and that's it. Whereas other of the papyrus, other of the rituals that you'll find in the PGM, use all kinds of stuff, right? And I'm telling you this because I've got an entire room filled with stuff that I use to be able to do most of this magic, because you can't do the majority of Coptic magic requires implements, requires tools, as well as Solomonic magic, right? There's no other way around it. So I got all kinds of stuff that I've had to procure all over the place to be able to get the magic done. But this is one of those rituals where, goodness gracious, you don't have to have all of that. So that should be something extremely exciting for you. That should be something that should just make you just jump off your seat, because anyone, anywhere can do it. It is just that low impact in terms of purchasing materials. You just need a piece of paper, or in the perfect case scenario, a piece of papyrus, but doesn't have to be one, and to say the words, right? So, wow. Yay! Again. Woohoo! That's wonderful, isn't it? So, that's the first thing that I gotta say when we talk about the Stele of Jehu. Now, what else I gotta say is, this is a ritual used traditionally, not even to invoke the Cephalus. It's actually used to do a whole lot more than that. You see, the Stele of Jehu, like I mentioned at the beginning of this conversation, was developed by good old-fashioned friend of ours named Jehu. Yay, Jehu! Let's give an applause for Jehu. Yeah. Well, our friend Jehu, okay, was a writer, literally a writer, who wrote onto surfaces, which back in the day was also called hieroglyphist. True story. What? Yeah. Yay, go Jehu. Yes, Kim. Let's give another applause there, Kim. Woo! Right? Papa Jehu. Okay. Well, Jehu was a hieroglyphist. Okay. What we need to understand, and this is why I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to go a little deep here, okay? We understand why is this relevant, okay? Because a lot of people think that this Bornless ritual automatically is, a ritual to talk to your holy guardian angel, and it's not exactly that way. So pay attention if you can. If you're out there listening, please pay attention. If you're not going to pay attention, you might as well just go home. You're probably at home, whatever. So, first things first. Jehu, Papa Jehu, okay? As a hieroglyphist, we must understand that the nature of his work was to write on surfaces. Now, you might be thinking to yourself that writing on surface, you're like, okay, that means he's a painter? No. We need to take ourselves back then. When somebody was a hieroglyphist, this is a honored, very sacred, very special, one out of maybe 100,000 people are selected to do it and trained to do it kind of profession. Okay? Not just anybody was a hieroglyphist. Because a hieroglyphist does not write books. Back then, there were no actual books. There were papyrus. And the book writing process was a pretty darn expensive one and very, very excluded to only the highest and most sacred levels of the population. Got it? So it wasn't for just about anybody. Okay? So a hieroglyphist, one, had to be extremely well studied, had to be ordained as a hieroglyphist, had to be trained as a hieroglyphist, had to be blessed as a hieroglyphist, had to maintain a certain state of purity as a hieroglyphist. Okay? So when you read about Abraham Moline and he's talking about the fact that you can't eat and you can't have sex. You can't do this. You can't do that. That comes from. Whereas the majority of modern occult, now they know everything. They're now the grandmaster Huba magic. They're the book on to the Twilight Grotto magics. They're like, you've got the Everly says you got 18 months without having sex, eating anything, and basically live off your own fumes, right? No, that's not true, guys. No. You see, Abraham is talking about something based on the way that the hieroglyphist and the tradition, the scribes, and what I'm talking about here is the traditional lifestyle and kind of like the protocol of traditional holy scribes. Holy scribes had to have this level of purification for them to touch a wall before doing the hieroglyphics. Understand, with a big capital U, understand with a big capital U, that even in the Jewish tradition today, in order for you to take the scrolls of the Torah and actually touch them, you must be blessed. You must be a rabbi, and you must be in a state of purity to do that. Okay? Not just anybody can get their hands on the scrolls and open up the scrolls of the Torah and touch it. Okay? If you think that, you're wrong. It's not that way. It doesn't work that way. The scrolls are written of the Torah, each and every single one of the kenis, or every one of the shuls, which is the synagogues, the churches, so to speak, the temples, have a very specific set of those scrolls of the Torah. And you've got one person, one rabbi who is ordained, who is blessed, who can write the words, because these are sacred words. And so if he makes a mistake, you got to go right back over there. I mean, it's just that cannot make a mistake. When you think about the extension of the document and can't make a mistake, because every single word they're writing is a divine word. It is just that sacred. So you got a big old scroll, which has to be prepared a certain way, it has to be blessed, blah, 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 right? And written word by word by word, letter by letter, perfectly by a blessed person in a state of purity. And then the person who reads it during services can't even actually touch the scroll. They touch it with a piece of an implement, a tool. They touch it so they can read the scroll, because you can't touch it because it's so holy. Again, state of grace. Okay? Now, this is something that we're talking about in the Jewish tradition till today, guys. Till today. Till today. Go now to your local synagogue and you'll see that today. And those are from the Orthodox Jewish tradition, even more so. Okay? I mean, woof. Okay? Hardcore. So when we go back, back in time, the time of the hieroglyphists, at the same time that the Jewish community was enslaved in Egypt, right? Same time, guys. Same time. Same bat channel, same bat place, okay? Batty place, Batty channel, way back when, okay? Your hieroglyphist, your temple servant, your temple priest, your temple servants, these people who worked in the temple, part of the temple tradition, and I'm telling you this because my family, and it's pretty well documented, go to Egypt, you see it yourself, our families, temple workers in the families, okay? Temple workers, there are temple workers who are married, who have children. It's not like Catholicism today where you can't be, no. Married with children, the whole thing. Depends on what temple, depends on what part of the tradition you're working in, okay? So you've got temple workers who have to be in a state of grace, so to speak, have to be in purity, before they can even enter the temple, before they can walk in. Forget about being a hieroglyphist and writing on it. You see where I'm going with this? So when Abraham speaks about this, he's doing an echo, a mirror to what the tradition is. So it's understandable that he would have interpreted it's understandable, right? Very much so. Specifically because, again, Abraham, a Jewish member living in Egypt during a time where, and using the same exact mindset with the same exact rituals. You see where I'm going with this? So that's understandable, okay? That's understandable. Now, again, whether or not the state of purity is necessary for the effectiveness of the ritual, I cannot debate that, neither in favor or against it, right? What I can say is that certain levels of physical and spiritual purity will augment the results of your magic. There's no doubt about that. That does not necessarily mean that if you're not in a state of purity, your magic won't work. That would be a lie. That would be a fallacy. You can still do magic even if you're not in a state of purity. This is very true. Absolutely. Without a doubt. Okay? Without a doubt. But I can attest to and I can tell you, and lots of other people from lots of other traditions throughout lots of other types of magic can tell you that when you're in a state of purity, your magical result, your power will be augmented. And that is that. However you want to find that, or if that caters to you or not, you like that or not, that's really not my, I really don't care. Because at the end of the day, it's extremely well documented throughout the entire world, through all traditions, whether, for example, Native Americans and the different tribes went through processes to purify themselves, right? To get closer to their spirituality, right? Throughout Buddhism, people go through processes to purify themselves, to get closer to their spirituality. Throughout the Hindu traditions, the Jain traditions, Taoist traditions purify themselves to get closer to spirituality. Throughout Christianity, Judaism, Islam, purify yourself. You see where I'm going with this? So that's not something that, again, it's not something that we're going to say that just one tradition or another. It is a unified concept. By being a unified concept and having factors that are in common, at least phenomenologically speaking, there is a grain, a fiber that is common between them. So something, some type of result, some type of an impact, whether positive or negative, must be attributed to them, one way or another. Am I of the authority to be able to pronounce on what that is? No, I am not. Okay, and I will not go there because to each their own. But there is a very well documented cross traditional point of view, an optic that says that the state of purity will augment the level of result. But I have yet to see evidence of where the lack of the state of purity will completely destroy the results. So again, one thing will augment and give you more power, but if you're not in that state of purity, it will not destroy your magic. It just might make it a little slower. It might not as powerful. Again, that's how that is, right? Until this day, I'm not sure anybody has ever been able to define exactly what level of purity and why. So again, that's just a depth that would be very difficult to navigate. And anybody who tries to get up on their soapbox and tries to, give you the whole speech on that, they're doing that from a place of dogma instead of practicality and pragmaticism. Okay, so again, we must always be on the side of being practical, pragmatic, based on what we can evidence and clearly identify. And if we cannot clearly identify it, it'd be just better to keep the mouth shut, right? So again, that's a very specific point. Okay? Now, what we need to understand is the concept of a hieroglyphist, and Miriam is exactly on the money there. I'm getting there. Thank you so much, Miriam. Glyphist, they who draw, right? These are scribes. Hero meaning holy, right? Sacred, holy, okay? Hierophant, right? Okay. Hero monks, hero deacon or proto deacon, as myself, for example, as the Dabtera, I'm a hero deacon or a proto deacon. Okay, actually, in my case, it's a proto hero deacon, so to speak, right? That's kind of like my station, like that's my ordained state, right? We got to understand that these are people who are in a specific setting and with specific guidelines. And so the stele of Jehu as a hieroglyphist, he needed to prepare himself before touching the surface of what he was going to write the hieroglyphic on. Okay? So how does this work with the Holy Guardian Angel? What does that got to do with anything? Okay, so here you go. When we talk about writing onto a surface, that's Kabbalah in its basic state, okay? As we write onto a surface, we are creating a magical text, a magical portrait, a magical drawing. So we're converting the wall into a piece of magic. You're converting that wall into a piece of living magic. If you write on the interior or the exterior of a pyramid, you're converting that entire pyramid into a living, breathing magical object. For lack of another word, a living egregor or a living servitor, so to speak, you're creating that, guys. Okay? And you're housing it within the walls through the text. You're using the text to house it. You're enchanting a surface with the words and the drawings. Okay? So, for you to do such a thing, you must first rid that surface of all impurity. Then, After having done that, okay, you must then proclaim sufficient authority, right, for your capacities to write, to change the substance that you're going to be writing on into something holy, into something sacred, into something magical. You can't just do it because you're doing it. You've got to have sufficient authority for you to be able to command that into existence. Then you must also have sufficient authority to be able to make, respect, identify, move the spirits in that surface and around that surface, as to give not just the authority but the dynamics, give life to the dynamics of what you just created. So this could be banishing, invoking at the same time, either of the two, banishing or invoking. And at the end of the day, if you're capable of exercising, banishing, invoking, and having sufficient authority, you're in your maximum state of purity. You're in your maximum state of spiritual connection. It is more than logical that at this point, you can also attain perfect state. Therefore, knowledge and communication with your holy guardian angel is almost automatic, because you've got nothing between you and them. There's no obstacle. You've exercised everything, you've banished everything, and you've proclaimed supreme authority. So now you're in a perfect state to communicate, not just with your holy guardian angel, but also with any other spirit. And that, my friends, is what Aleister Crowley and all the rest don't actually say, and they need to be saying it. The Stele of Jehu is not just for knowledge and communication with your holy guardian angel. You can use it as a first pathway, as a first step to communication with any spirit of any order, including but not limited to your holy guardian angel. Because by doing this ritual, you're commanding those that should not be there to leave. That's the exorcism part. So if we see the presentation larger, okay. Come on now. You will see the uses here as a general exorcism to attain knowledge, communication with the holy guardian angel, to proclaim authority, or as a liberation of exercise. Okay. So we use the Stele of Jehu. You're using it to exercise and your higher self. Your holy guardian angel is your higher self. That's a load of horse pucky. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a big old lie. Why is that a lie? Because the Stele of Jehu gives you the authority to declare your higher self. Gives you the authority to exercise everything, holding on, latching on, basically, garbaging up, toxicking up you're contaminating your higher self, so that your higher self can be liberated into a state of purity that will allow you to then communicate with your holy guardian angel. So how are you going to clean yourself up to talk to yourself? That's not how it works. You're cleaning your higher self up so that your higher self, you, can talk to your holy guardian angel, being another entity, not you. It is bound to you, yes, but it's not you. It's got its own personality. Bound to you, yes. Its own personality, yes. Is it you? No. Your holy guardian angel is not you. You, in your state of purity, talks to your holy guardian angel. Okay? It's not a question of schizophrenia, you talking to you. No, that's not it, guys. No, it's not that. It's not that. It's not a question of Jungian psychology. You're just talking to your inner self. That's not, no, it's not, I'm going to talk to my inner child. That's not what that is, guys. And if you think you're doing that, then you're sadly mistaken. Okay? Your holy guardian angel accompanies you. It is another entity that is assigned to you and bound to you. Cannot go anywhere without you. You can't go anywhere without it. I mean, it's with you forever, right? Well, forever until you leave this worldly existence. The second your earthly body is gone, your holy guardian angel can now be assigned to someone else, right? But while you're still in this body, and this body is still assigned to you, You got yourself a custodian, guys. Your holy guardian angel. You got a custodian. And it's really not exactly a custodian. It's more like, it's more like your companion, it's your helper. It's kind of like your lawyer, right? It's kind of like your defender, right? And just so many other things. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, it is not you. It is an external entity to yourself, bound to you, but external at the same time. Okay? So it's not you. You've got to be in your best self to be able to talk to it with clarity. That does not mean that if you're not your best self, you can't talk to it. Yes, you can talk to your holy guardian angel, even in a state of absolute contamination. Of course you can. At what point did anybody ever say that your holy guardian angel left you? It will not leave you ever. Yes, you can communicate. And every single word that comes out of your mouth, it's hearing. Okay? The problem is that you're not in a pure state for you to hear it yet. And so as you become pure and pure and pure, the more you declare authority, the more you exercise, the more you do it, the clearer the communication, the knowledge of the holy guardian angel is. So you got lots of people out there who are just way too freaking dogmatic, black and white. You're like, no, you got to do the 18-month. No. From the second you say, hey, holy guardian angel, it's hearing you. Even if you don't say, it's hearing you. From the first breath you had, it's hearing you. So this knowledge of communicate, you are communicating always, guys. Okay, just stop being ignorant. You are always communicating with your holy guardian angel, always. The difference here is you're not capable of understanding with clarity your holy guardian angel. You're not seeing clearly because you got way too much, like, between you and the holy guardian angel. You got way too much garbage, way too much interference going on. And so the spell of Jehu, for example, as a ritual, it clears up that interference. It clears it up. That's why the exorcism part of the ritual is necessary. Because anything latching onto you, anything closing your eyes, anything making you blind, work with Santeria. It works. Francisco, Santeria, you could say Santeria, you could say Taoism. It's the same thing. Santeria, spirits are spirits. It works. It is an exorcism works against, for any type of spirit. Any. A-N-Y. Any. Okay? So, the Stele of Jehu works as an exorcism. The Stele of Jehu proclaims authority. The Stele of Jehu is a liberation, can be used as a banishing, can be used also for invocation. Okay? If used correctly. Again, remember what I said at the beginning of the conversation. This ritual can be modified. Rituals can be modified. Don't think dogma is because the PGM said so. It can be modified. Yes, it can. Yes, you can. You can do it. Yeah. Yes, you can. Okay? Next. You must understand that by getting the general exorcism done, being able to liberate and being able to have authority, you then are in a state where you can have knowledge and communication. As time goes by, the more you do it, the more you repeat it, the more you are comfortable in your skin with this authority, the more liberated you are, the more you get that clearance of that garbage out of you and from around you, right? The more interference you're able to clear up, the stronger, the clearer, and the easier it is to communicate with the Holy Guardian Angel. Do you see what I'm saying? So it will help transform you. The Holy Guardian Angel will help transform you. When you get knowledge and communication with your Holy Guardian Angel, you're actually able to have that two-way communication. You will little by little mature. You will little by little mature your magic. You will little by little get back on the path to enlightenment and ascension, one way or another. Kind of like the Blondie song, one way or another, same thing. One way or another, you will get back on that path. Okay? So when you see people running around the world talking about, the fact that they've got this knowledge and communication with their Holy Guardian Angel, and they're just heinous people doing all kinds of crazy stuff, probably not, because if they're actually listening to the Holy Guardian Angel, the Holy Guardian Angel is telling them, don't you do it, and they do it anyways. One of two things: they're extremely rude to their Holy Guardian Angel, and they just ignore their Holy Guardian Angel, or they probably don't have that communication, right? So, up until right now, before I go further, any specific questions about this? A Grand Patrick Online said Jewish people were not enslaved; they were proper immigrants. Yes, this is so true. They actually were not enslaved. If you think about it, the community was, for lack of a better word, it kind of grew into a slavery, right? Because there was a need to work. They immigrated for work and whatnot, and then as time went by, as pharaohs went by, pharaohs started like taking advantage, just like any monarch would do it, right? So there's that. Now, Monir, wait, you said what? Okay, what are you talking about? Didier, my friend, you said what about what? Remind me. Hello, are you guys still there? You guys still hearing me? I'm not seeing any comments right now. Did we get shut? Okay, whew. Okay. I thought I just got cut off. I was like, why did I just get cut off? So, you're very welcome, Amanda. It's a pleasure. So, Didier, okay. Were you talking about pyramid? Yes. Okay. What about the pyramid, my friend? The pyramid is a living, breathing, magical entity. Why do you think when somebody tries to go in and violate the space of the pyramid, something happens to them? Just like the thing. Why do you think the Sphinx is in front of the pyramids? It's even got the form of a servitor at the end of the day. It's sitting there protecting the pyramids, the resting place of the pharaohs, the resting place of the gods, right? So, that's, I mean, even the design, it's meant to look that way. When you look at obelisks, you're like, what's an obelisk? An obelisk also has got a spiritual kind of connotation to it. It's kind of like an egregor type servitor as well. It brings down energy, both up and down. Energy goes up as well as down, drawn down. That's why there are hieroglyphics on the sides of obelisks. When you go, for example, to Luxor and whatnot, you can highly identify this. Absolutely. Okay. Now, Nasim Haramin. Well, not just that, but if you look at, for example, Dr. Hawass, very close friend of our family, Dr. Hawass, you'll see a lot of what he has written and a lot what he's done. When my granduncle was the minister of antiquities, and worked, for quite a while, worked with Dr. Hawass, you'll notice a lot of the documents, right, that were written on this, on the fact that these are living, breathing objects, that these are objects that have their own type of personality to them, and that the people from different cultures throughout the world who have had the opportunity to transit them have had the same types of experiences and same types of feelings, right? So it's a transcultural or a cross-cultural type of concept. Now, let's go back now into the rest of what we were seeing here. When we talk about the headless and the bornless, which were taken by Crowley, for example, Libra Samek or whatnot, there are modifications that were done. Yes, you can write it. You can write the stele of Jehu, absolutely can, and it has a very specific property to it when you write it as such. Just remember the length of the stele. Okay, the stele is a rather large document. We're gonna see it right now. I'm gonna actually show you the stele to all of you right now. We're gonna go through it right now. We're going to see it. I'm going to go through it with you. And a few days ago, a few people have asked me even to pronounce the words and actually to chant them as such. So I will do that as well for you, because I know a lot of you want to learn how to say the stele of Jehu. A lot of you want to know how it's sung, and I believe even Miriam asked me at one point to do it, in the Greek, at least the Coptic version of the Greek, right? So not a problem. Okay, now, so let's go for the next slide. Okay, now when we talk about the stele of Jehu, okay, let me show you here. I'm gonna put a we're gonna go halvesies on the slides. Okay, in the stele of Jehu, you will notice that the first part requires you. Let's go unfocus on the screen so we can. Okay, we can see it. Okay. It will ask you to have a new sheet of papyrus paper. So papyrus paper. Okay. So for those of you like papyrus, so papyrus paper. Okay. Papyrus. Okay. And on a new sheet of papyrus paper, you are going to write the preliminary invocation. Okay. You can do this on papyrus. You can also do it onto metal for like a crown, for example, crown as such, okay, as a crown, okay. Or you can do this onto a piece of papyrus so that it can be a papyrus crown as such as well, okay, as such. And you're going to be placing it from temple to temple on your head, okay, as such. You see that? From temple to temple on your head, okay. So from ear to ear, basically, okay. So you can do it this way as a crown, okay, or you can do it with metal as such. Okay. Are we all seeing this, guys? Ladies and gentlemen, are we all seeing this? We got 22 people here. Are you all seeing it? Yes? Yes? Okay. So, it can be done as crown, okay, with the words on it, engraved or written, or it can be done with the papyrus as such. Okay? Now, before we go further, I need to explain why this is done. Okay? The reason why you do this, the reason why you put this, and I'm going to say the words, I'm going to explain what the words mean, okay? Because using this, you are actually labeling yourself. You are labeling who you are. Literally. as if hieroglyphics. Okay, you're labeling who you are. Okay. In a few minutes, I'm going to actually explain the words. I'm going to say the words. I'm going to explain the words to this. This is the first part. This is not the entire ritual. This is just the first part. Okay. No, it's got to be black, blue, but not red. Not red. Red, no. Okay. Traditionally, it can be a blackish brown because we use Kaifi ink. Okay. Kaifi ink. Okay. Doesn't look so black as you can notice here. Okay. Because if you look at it closely, you'll see the color is a 1 second, get back, there you go. You can notice it is a brownish black. It's not completely black, okay? Because Kaifi ink, okay? You use Kaifi ink, okay? Okay. This type of crown does not have a specific pairing to metal, okay? So there is no preference to it, okay? Now, for this particular piece, which is a declaration here, because you're putting it on you as a declaration, okay, declaratory, okay? You gotta be very careful. You gotta be very careful as to write correctly the words. And it should be written in Greek or Coptic, okay, in Greek or Coptic. I have this, like I said, here on metal. It's Coptic here, okay? And this one, it's written in Greek, for questions of this class and the things that we're saying here, so that you guys are like, so why did you write it differently? I'm writing it the same as you'd find it in the PGM, okay? So that nobody, like, you know, gives me the, like, why is he writing these things differently? What's Monir doing? Monir's weird. Why is it? No. The reason why I'm doing it this way is so that you guys don't have any comments about that. You can see it. It's written the same way you find the PGM, okay? However, this one's got it written in Coptic. Obviously, this is the one I use in rituals. As you can see with the clothes I got on, I'm in ritual attire right now. I am fully dressed for rituals at this moment, okay? I am in ritual attire. I'm robed, okay? I'm literally wearing a robe right now, okay? I'm not wearing pants. Like, he's not wearing pants. I'm not wearing pants. I'm wearing a robe. I'm in complete attire for rituals. Because you know where I just came from, right? So, okay? He doesn't have any pants on. Oh my god. Right? No. I'm not saying that pantsless are chicken. I'm not saying that to impress anybody or to make anybody get sick either. So don't worry about that. That's has nothing to do with that, not at all. But I'm in a robe, okay? And so I'm wearing my attire. I've got my crown right next to me because, you know, I'm doing rituals, okay? So for somebody like, you know, Monir hasn't talked to us in a long time. We haven't seen him post anything. He's taken a long time to send documents, and because I'm working on your stuff. I'm working on your work, guys. Let me do the work, please. Please, let me do the work. So, give me a chance. I'm just one of me. And there's a bunch of y'all. And I'm just one of me. So, back on the subject. You can do it this way, and it'll work just fine. You don't have to engrave anything. So, some of you are like, I don't have anything to engrave with. Not a problem. Zero problems. No problema, as they say in Spanish. Not a problem. Or they say in Arabic, mish mohem. Mish mohem. Not a problem. Not a problem, my friends. This is not a problem. Do not worry, okay? You can do it with the papyrus. You don't want papyrus. You don't have papyrus. You can't find any papyrus. Do not fret. Take a piece of paper. Look at that. That's called paper. Oh my god, it's paper. It's paper. Yes, it is. Take that paper. Get yourself some good old-fashioned scissors. Take some scissors. Cut your paper with the scissors. Right on the paper. Just that easy. Trust me, it will work the same. I'm a traditionalist for many reasons, right? For many. But for those of you who aren't trying to do this type of ritual all day, every day, you can use a piece of paper. The idea here is that you start doing it. Start doing it. Like the Nike commercial. Just do it. Right? So, getting back on subject. We're going to be putting this up here, right? So, we're going to be writing the words as such. Okay, you'll see it here in the presentation. You're going to start from one side. You're going to write the words out. Obviously, it looks backwards because we're in Crowdcast. But at the end, you're going to see this really interesting little sign here. Okay, the same one you see in the presentation. You know, looks like a little happy face sideways. Okay, that's going to be at the very end of the words. Very necessary for you to write that. Okay, very necessary. It is not. It is not a